Hi, I'm going to show you how to set up breakout rooms in Zoom Meeting. It's a really nice feature that allows you to divide up your students virtually or remotely, allow them to work with a partner in a small group, and then come back to the whole group to kind of break up any type of remote learning lesson or session. So if I go ahead and open up my Zoom application and I start a new meeting, as the app opens, it's going to ask me to join with computer audio, which I will go ahead and do. I am now using computer audio. But what I want to show you specifically is how to use the breakout rooms. So down at the bottom, and I hope that you can see this clearly, there is an icon that says breakout rooms, and there's four squares there. If I click on that, this window will pop up. And it's going to ask me how many people that I want to assign to how many rooms. So a couple of ways that you can do that. You can see you can do this automatically or manually. So let me give you an example. Let's say I have a class of 25 students and I want them working in groups, but I don't want the groups to be any larger than 4. So preferably 3. So I'm going to say I'm going to go ahead and set up 8 breakout rooms. Now the difference between automatically and manually is how those students or those names get put into the respective rooms. So a couple of things here to keep in mind. If you do it automatically, they will be immediately and automatically assigned to a room, which from an efficiency of getting them in and getting them busy, and as far as minimizing the work you have to do this, it's by far the best option. However, that is not necessarily always the best scenario because there may be certain students you want working together, or there may be certain students that you do not want working together and you don't want to give up that control. So then you would check them manually. Kind of one thing to point out, when you do it manually, the session has to be open with the participants in. So you will have to move those names into those rooms while students are actively in the session with you. So this is a bit of a logistical concern or just an issue that you want to make sure that you're aware of. The few seconds that it takes for you to do that, and you could certainly set up an activity for kids to be working on while you manually set up the room. So it just all comes down to planning. So just remember, that's the difference between automatically and manually. So if I go ahead and say I want 8 rooms, I want them populated automatically, I'm going to click Create. There are my 8 rooms. You could certainly rename them if you want. You can, if there were students in or learners in this session, you could assign them. But I just want to show you real quickly some of the options. If I don't like how that was set up, I can hit Recreate. So you could shuffle again, or you could change the number of rooms, or you could say, no, I want to do this manually. Also, if you click on the options, move all participants into the breakout rooms automatically, can be checked. Allow them to return to the main session at any time. This might be something that you want to allow in case students have questions. Just remember, when they are in the session, they can come back to the main. So if you are going into rooms to check on their progress or kind of monitor their work, if a student does leave the breakout room because they have a question for you, you will not know that till you come back to the main session. So it's just something to keep in mind. You can set so that breakout rooms automatically close after a certain number of time, a certain amount of time that you can let the students know at the beginning. Notify me when the time is up. And if you close rooms down, allow the participants to see a countdown timer that gives them a heads up that it's getting ready to close, and they may want to finish up any work that they may have. So I can add another room, and then I can go ahead, if this was live, and I could open them. So that's just a real quick breakthrough on breakout rooms. It's not very complicated. It's actually pretty simple, and it is a very, very strong pedagogical strategy to kind of simulate that small group work in a virtual or a remote environment.